Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're all about microscopes.
Yeah, perfect timing if you're in Mr. Martin's Year 7 science class.
Right, we'll cover all the
Look
basics.
at how microscopes work, what all the parts are, and even how to calculate magnification.
So don't worry if English isn't your first language. This deep dive will make it all super clear.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first things first. What exactly is a microscope? I mean, obviously it lets us see really small things, but like, how small are we talking?
Okay, so imagine you're looking at an ant.
Okay, an ant. Got it.
You can see its legs and its antenna, maybe even its eyes if you look closely.
Yeah,
But a microscope,
yeah.
that lets you zoom in even further. You could see like the tiny hairs on its antenna or even the individual cells that make up its body.
Whoa,
Things like bacteria, fungi, even the cells in our own bodies.
that's pretty amazing.
It's like a whole hidden world.
Definitely. So how does it actually work? Is it like shrink us down or something?
No, not quite.
Okay, good.
Microscopes use lenses.
Okay, like a magnifying glass.
Sort of,
Okay.
but way more powerful.
Oh, okay.
These lenses bend light
Yeah.
to make things look way bigger, hundreds or even thousands of times bigger.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. Okay, so speaking of lenses, there are a lot of parts to a microscope.
Right, but don't worry, once you know what each part does,
Yeah.
it's not that complicated. Let's start with the part you look through.
The eyepiece.
Exactly. It's kind of like a magnifying glass on its own,
Okay,
but it works with the other lenses to make things super clear.
okay, cool.
Now, there's also the objective lenses.
Those are the ones that do the real magnifying, right?
Exactly, and they come in different strengths.
Okay,
So you can choose how much you want to magnify something.
like zoom levels on the camera.
Exactly. Now, to hold the thing you're looking at, what we call the specimen, you need a slide.
That's the little glass rectangle thing.
Exactly, and the slide goes on the stage.
The stage?
It's just a flat platform that holds the slide.
Ah, okay. And what about those little clips?
Oh, those are the stage clips. They hold the slide in place.
So it doesn't move around.
Exact.
Smart. Okay, so we've got the lenses, the stage. What else?
Well, to see the specimen properly, you need light.
Right, it's probably pretty tiny.
That's where the light source comes in.
Yeah.
It shines light up through the slide.
Yeah.
So you can see the specimen clearly.
Ah, like a little spotlight.
Exactly. Now, the last things we need to talk about are the focus knobs.
Those are the ones on the side,
Yep, those are them.
Yeah.
They're super important for getting a clear image.
but there are two of them.
Right, there's the coarse focus knob and the fine focus knob.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well, the coarse focus knob moves the stage up and down
Okay.
to get you close to being in focus. Then the fine focus knob
Yeah.
makes tiny adjustments
Ah, okay.
to make the image crystal clear.
So one's for getting close and the other's for like fine-tuning.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So now that we've covered all the parts,
We can.
let's talk about how to actually use a microscope.
Sounds good?
It's important to be careful
Yeah,
so you don't accidentally break anything.
right.
Always start with the stage all the way
Oh,
down.
Got it?
That way you won't bump the slide into the lens.
Makes sense.
And then you carefully place your slide on the stage
Yep.
and secure it with the stage clips.
The tiny seatbelts.
Exactly. Make sure it's center over the light.
Okay, what's next?
Choose your objective lens.
Oh, right, we talked about those.
Always start with the lowest magnification.
Okay.
That gives you the widest view.
Easier to find what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Okay, then what?
Now, look at the microscope from the side and carefully turn the coarse focus knob to bring the stage up.
Okay.
You should see the specimen come into view. Probably a bit blurry, though.
Okay.
Once you've got a rough image,
Yeah,
switch to the fine focus knob to make it crystal clear.
gotcha. And if I want to zoom in closer?
Then you carefully rotate the objective lens turret.
To choose a higher magnification.
Exactly, but be careful.
Yeah.
Always watch from the side as you raise the stage so you don't crash the lens into the slide.
Good point. Okay, so raise the stage, choose a new lens, then use the fine focus to sharpen it up again.
Perfect. You're getting it.
So now I know how to use a microscope safely.
You do. So ready to dive into the world of magnification.
Absolutely, that's what I'm here for.
Perfect. Let's take a closer look at how it all works and how we can even calculate it.
Sounds good.
It's actually easier than you might think.
Okay, I'm all ears. All right, so we've mastered using a microscope. But like, how does magnification actually work? How can it make something appear like hundreds of times bigger?
It's all about light, how lenses bend light.
Okay,
Think about it this way. When light passes through a curved lens that changes direction,
right.
and this bending of light, it's called refraction.
Refraction, got it.
It makes the image look bigger than the actual object.
So the more the light bends, the bigger it looks.
Exactly. And microscopes use multiple lenses to bend the light in just the right way
Ah, okay.
to create a super magnified image.
So it's like a chain reaction of magnifying.
You got it. Now, remember how we talked about the eyepiece lens and the objective lens?
Yep.
To calculate the total magnification, you just multiply their powers together.
Oh, okay. So like, if the eyepiece magnifies 10 times and the objective lens magnifies 4 times,
Yep,
the total magnification would be 40 times.
exactly. You're a natural.
Cool. So if we can see things 40 times bigger, what kind of crazy stuff can we actually see under a microscope?
Oh, get ready to be amazed. We can see a whole hidden universe. Like, have you ever looked at a leaf up close?
Well, yeah, but not under a microscope.
Under a microscope, a leaf is a whole different world. You can see the tiny pores it uses to breathe. They're called stomata.
Stomata. Okay.
They look like tiny mouths opening and closing.
Whoa.
You can even see the veins that transport water and nutrients throughout the leaf, like a miniature highway system.
That's incredible.
It really makes you realize how much is happening that we normally can't even see.
Definitely. What about something like a human hair? What does that look like under a microscope?
Even a human hair, which feels smooth,
Yeah.
under a microscope it has all these overlapping scales, kind of like shingles on a roof.
Really?
You can even see slit ends.
Wow. I never thought about hair like that. It's amazing how something so normal can look so different under a microscope. What other cool things can we see?
Well, remember those dust mites we talked about earlier?
Uh-oh. You're not going to make me regret asking, are you?
Maybe a little. But they are fascinating to look at under a microscope. You can see all 8 of their legs, their little mouth parts.
Okay, that's kind of creepy. But cool. Maybe we can move on to something a little less crawly.
All right, how about something beautiful, like a snowflake?
Ooh, I love snowflakes. But I've never actually seen one up close.
Under a microscope, a snowflake is just stunning.
Yeah.
All these intricate patterns and delicate structures, each one is unique, like a tiny work of art.
Wow.
You can see the symmetry and all the little branches that make up its crystalline structure.
It sounds magical. So microscopes can show us the hidden beauty in everyday things. But what about science? How do scientists actually use them?
Microscopes are essential tools in so many scientific fields. Biologists use them to study cells, bacteria, and viruses.
Okay.
It helps us understand how living things work and how diseases spread.
Right.
Geologists use microscopes to examine rocks and minerals, to learn about Earth's history and how our planet formed.
Wow.
And forensic scientists use microscopes to analyze evidence at crime scenes.
So microscopes aren't just for looking at cool things. They're actually helping us understand the world around us and solve problems.
Exactly.
That makes me appreciate them even more. So before the microscope, people didn't even know bacteria existed.
Right, they had no idea these tiny organisms were everywhere, causing diseases and influencing the environment.
That must have been a huge discovery. It's amazing how much our understanding has changed thanks to the microscope. We've been talking a lot about light microscopes, but are there other types?
You're right, there are lots of different types of microscopes, each with its own special abilities. Light microscopes.
Like the ones we've been talking about.
Exactly, they use visible light to create the image.
Okay.
But there are also electron microscopes.
Electron microscopes.
They use beams of electrons instead of light.
Oh, wow.
And they can magnify things millions of times larger than light microscopes.
Millions.
So scientists can see even the tiniest structures within cells and molecules.
That's incredible. Even though we've learned a lot about microscopes today, it feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
You're absolutely right. There's a whole universe waiting to be discovered under a microscope. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one making those amazing discoveries.
This deep dive has been amazing. I feel like I've learned so much about microscopes, parts, safety, magnification.
You've been a great student.
Thanks. I think I'm actually ready for Mr. Martin's exit quiz now.
I have no doubt you'll ace it. But remember, microscopes aren't just about quizzes. They're about unlocking new discoveries and understanding the world around us.
You're right. It's about using what we've learned to explore and learn even more. Any tips for getting the most out of using a microscope?
Be patient and observant. Don't just glance at the specimen. Really take your time. Move the slide around, adjust the focus, and really look at the details. You never know what you might find.
So it's like being a detective, searching for clues in a tiny world.
Exactly. And just like a detective, be curious. Ask questions. What are you seeing? How does it move? How does it interact with its surroundings? The more questions you ask, the more you'll learn.
I love that. Each specimen has a story to tell, and the microscope helps us understand it. What if I see something totally new, something I've never seen before?
Document it. Draw what you see, take notes, or even take pictures if your microscope has a camera, and share your discoveries with others. It's a great way to learn and inspire people.
So it's not just about seeing, it's about recording and sharing. Like a real scientist.
Exactly. And remember, every scientist started somewhere. Maybe one of Mr. Martin's students will make the next big discovery using a microscope.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Okay, before we wrap up, anything else important to remember about microscopes?
Remember that microscopes aren't just for scientists. They're for anyone who wants to explore the world in a new way. A leaf, a hair, a drop of water. A microscope can show you a whole hidden universe of beauty and complexity.
I love that. It makes me want to grab a microscope right now and see what I can find.
That's the spirit. And remember, even though we've covered a lot today, there's always more to learn. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never lose that sense of wonder.
Thank you so much for taking us on this journey into the microscopic world. I feel like I've learned so much.
My pleasure. And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep those brains curious, and we'll catch you next time.